Hi, my name is Matthew Goode, and the film that we're plugging is Brideshead Revisited, and you're watching GordonInTheWorld.com.
Is this where you live?
It's where my family lives. Come along, Charles. There's someone I want you to meet.
Welcome to Brideshead, Mr. Ryder.
It's the most beautiful house I've ever seen.
How kind you are. And what form do your pleasures take?
What I most want to be is a painter.
We must get you to paint something for us.
I'd be delighted. Who's that in the car with your mother?
My sister.
I take it you're not one of us.
I don't live like this, if that's what you mean.
He's here as my friend. Don't you think you ought to know what he's getting into? What do you imagine you're doing on this earth?
I want to look back and say that I didn't turn my back, that I was happy.
Mr. Ryder must stay with us for the rest of the vacation. You seem to me a very reliable young man.
Go, Rusty.
All right, get this out of the way. You can cuss as much as you want in this interview.
Oh, great.
So just
Fucking
go,
brilliant.
Just go nuts. All right. First question: do you think you could take me in a fight? No, I'm just kidding.
I think I've got a good reach.
I don't know, but I'm stocky though.
And you are stocky. I think you'd have a good hook. But I think maybe my speed may get me around you. I don't know. Let's have a fight afterwards.
Okay, we'll find out. So first real question.
Yeah.
How'd you come to be involved with Brideshead Revisited?
Well, I got a phone call one day from my agent just saying I think they're going to remake, they're going to the Brideshead, because they were going to do it with David Yates. I think Paul Bettany and Jude Law were going to do it, but it all fell through. So I thought it was just going to disappear, and suddenly they said, well, they're interested in you to play a part, and I was like, okay, great. I knew the novel, and obviously I knew the series, and I went in and met Julian, and we finally got a script and auditioned, and then they stupidly gave me the part. Yeah. So that's sort of how it came about, really.
Was there a lot of pressure for you to, adapt, this very acclaimed novel? Was there a lot of extra pressure on you for that, or?
Yeah, I think knowing that, because there's knowing that people were going to be criticising, I think the fact there was going to be another adaptation done. And I say we weren't trying to remake a television series. We were trying to do a faithful adaptation, and truncating such an epic story down into 2 hours comes with its pressures. And obviously for me, knowing that Charles is so vocal in the novel, you know what I mean, because he's the narrator, and then they take all of that away, and so I was like, this is going to be quite a challenge. I'm actually going to have to really act in this one, so it's going to be hard. But I think knowing that Emma Thompson and Michael Gambon were going to be doing it, I was like, well, if we're going to go down in flames, then at least I'm in good company.
All right, how intimidating was it for you to take a role, previously performed by Jeremy Irons?
Fuck, really, no, really. Really I was hugely scared, but knowing, because I was speaking to Julian, and my worries were, I think people are always going to say, that I'm similar to Jeremy, but I mean it's because we're both tall, thin streaks of Pierce, and we both got a deep voice, and but I think knowing that I had a completely different bunch of other actors, and and different scripts, and despite being set in the same mise en scène of Castle Howard. It'd be impossible to copy someone's performance. You got to just get on and do it yourself. So, there were pressures, but it was a huge amount of fun, really.
What was it like working with the film's director, Julian? I don't want to butcher the last name. Could you just say it for me?
Julian Gerald.
Okay, it is like it sounds. I was like, that looks like Gerald, but I don't.
Gerald. Yeah.
I don't want to butcher it and get corrected.
No, you got it right. You got it right.
As opposed to Woody Allen, who you worked with for Match Point.
The main difference is that Julian actually talked to me. I mean, I think with I wasn't particularly a huge part of the action in Match Point, so I just sort of came on, did 2 takes, tried not to get fired, and fucked off. And with Brideshead, obviously it's much more central to the story, and it's much more subtle, and it's thematically far richer, film, and more complicated. So we needed to have that two-way relationship going on all the time. So just mainly for me, so that I don't get lost in the story, because we don't shoot it narratively. Although the book jumps around a lot anyway, but yeah, we needed to make sure we were on the same page at all times.
What was it like, the transition for you to go from this dramatic period piece to your newest film in the comic book adaptation of Watchmen?
I think it's so weird. I mean, in some ways, I was going from one period drama to another period drama because it's sort of set in the 80s and stuff. But I didn't know, I didn't know anything about Watchmen until I turned up in Vancouver 2 days after finishing Brideshead, and then I read it and I was like, oh my Christ, this is amazing. It's such a good, psychologically three-dimensional characters, and the whole overview of the story is vast and epic in its qualities. And so, yeah, it's just, it brings the fear straight back in, pumping through your veins, I suppose. But, yeah, but also Zack Snyder's just very different to Julian, just he's full of beans but once again, it was trying to uphold the integrity of the the source material that it's from. So it was quite similar in those
That's
constraints.
what I was thinking. You went from adapting one acclaimed novel to adapting one of the most famous comic books.
Yeah, Time Magazine top 100 novels. Yeah, both of them.
Really?
Yeah, both of them are. So it's kind of like, if I can just help, that means I've got another 98 to do. If I can just keep hopping around with that kind of with the brilliant novels, then I might have a career.
My dear boy.
Tell me, Mr. Ryder, what did you make of Brideshead?
I thought it was magnificent.
You think that? Really? What a lot of temptations.
Sebastian and I are a couple of heathens.
I'm not a heathen, I'm a sinner. Let's get plastered.
They're very good, these friendships, but I think it's more than that for Sebastian. Tread carefully, Mr. Ryder.
Hello, Charles. Tell me this is fate.
Sebastian.
You don't care about me, all you ever wanted was my sister.
I hope you didn't let Julia mislead you. Her future is not a question of choice. It gives me great pleasure to announce the engagement of my eldest daughter, the Lady Julia Flight, to Mr. Rex Mottram. I think you should leave now, Charles.
You banish me from your house. You poison my friendship with both your children.
Sebastian! Leave me alone!
I took you into my confidence and you betrayed me.
You thought you were getting me and the house together.
Is that really what you think?
You tell me, what does Charles Ryder really want?